the all. Oh man, you know already started me. I'm gonna check it. All right. Oh well. Welcome to another episode. This is the 18th episode of Amsterdam Talk. If y'all don't realize this, but I got something special to tell y'all at the end of the day. But tonight I got a special guest. Miss V Bailey's in the building. She's the creator of IG Virtual Dates and the new series that's getting ready to come out. Ask a Black Man. It's a 6-part mini series. How you doing, Miss V Bailey?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me and bring me on your platform. I know you're doing a lot of great things. And it's always good to network with other creative entrepreneurs that are making a difference in their community. So I'm grateful to be here.
Oh man, you know when we talk, when I first met you, I watched a lot of your stuff, so it's dope. I know that's dope. But when I first met you and we talked, and I had to invite you, and you watched the show, and then you came back and said, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Yeah, definitely. I think you guys have a lot of creative content and a lot of conversations or topics that need to be covered. Some, are entertaining, but with each of them, I believe that you can learn something from it. So that's what I'm all about is, taking, information and applying it and using it to better yourself. And so, yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate it for
We
sure.
all we all about social. We all about social society. I'm not saying social. We all about society and culture over here. So
Yeah.
let's get straight into it. So, how did you start the IG virtual dates?
Okay. Well, yeah, just to add, so it's called Virtual First Dates. And I actually was working on it in 2019. I was thinking I was going to make it into a dating podcast. I was like, that'd be interesting for people to kind of like, just listen in on dates. People are nosy, that'll be something that's just entertaining, but also something you can kind of learn from, especially if you're not very comfortable dating. And so once the pandemic happened, there was early, rumblings of things closing down. I was thinking, okay, I could, turn this into a show. Because I had a few girlfriends that are like, oh, got to get back on these online dating, sites and, meet someone, before everything shuts down. And so I'm just like, well, maybe you don't, have to. And I can kind of take out some of that, some of those fears. So like when you're dating someone online or meeting people online, a lot of times there's some reservations. I did some surveys on what people run into who do it and the pros and cons. And the main con was the catfishing, right? And so
Right.
if you're going on a virtual date, which me and my team work together to vet out the people that the participants that are on the show, the men and women, and to kind of like see, where their heads at, what kind of people they are, ask them some questions, see what they're looking for and things like that. So we vet them and then you're going on a virtual date. So you're in the comfort of your own home, wherever it is that you feel comfortable. You got some that, outside on their patio and, just in their element. So it kind of takes all that other stuff away. You're a little bit nervous because it's doing something new. But it's kind of like two birds, one stone, where you're able to get out here and date, do something new, and also be comfortable. And so that's how it came, about. But also, I'm very passionate about, the Black community and our relationships. And there has been, a disconnect between Black men and Black women and families. There's a, very high divorce rate. And, with me, growing up, I'm a product of divorce, but my parents, my mom remarried. So I was always raised, with two parents. And then with my mother's, friends, there were, married couples, but all of my friends' parents were divorced or never married. or had some kind of, toxic, relationship. And so that's always been a passion of mine, is just seeing how I can be a part of the resolution versus being a part of the problem, and pushing those negative narratives that are pushed about Black women and Black men.
Okay, no, that's great right there. But so when you do these virtual dates, and is there like a preference? Like, do the men send a preference in, and do the women send a preference, or is just all random? Just like, hey, more like, I mean, I know it's virtual. It's more like blind. Like, yo, here you
Yeah.
go. This, your name is Tosh. Your name is Davon, and y'all just gonna link up tonight.
No. So what ends up happening is, before they ever go on a date, the part of that vetting process is, they complete a questionnaire. And it's a long
Okay.
questionnaire, with questions with preferences and things about them. And then my team creates a profile for them, and that's posted on the Instagram, on the men's page. So that's men V1D. And then the women's profile is women V1D. And so you have all the ladies on there. And it's, pictures of them and then about. So as far as the date, that once me and my team kind of work together, we see who fits together based on their about, and the things about themselves and what they like, and and then they're put on a date. And so they usually know maybe a week ahead. They can look at the pictures and then read the about, but it's still kind of a blind date, because as ladies, we like to change our hair. A lot of the men, they're looking one way. And the pandemic was crazy, because some of them had to come a little scruffy. They're like, I'm gonna do the best I can. This is not how I usually look.
Right.
The men were getting a little superficial during that, because they love their barber, to keep them clean. So
Yeah.
so there was some of that, but everybody was looking good. And so there's that. And there's some that would come on, they're like, I'm not gonna look, I'm just gonna kind of be surprised and just trust whatever it is, whoever it is that you selected to put me with. And then we go from there. So
right. But like I said, I watched a couple of them, and my viewers don't know for sure. But so when you put the IG date up, we're watching.
Mm-hmm.
We're watching, you have viewers watching the whole date. So
right.
Has there ever been any like negative comments? How does that, like, take the viewers through the whole process about the whole virtual, once it goes on IG, take them through that whole process.
Right. So once the date is set up, and there's, a poster flyer, so it's just being advertised all week long. And then whatever the date set, some people are, on the East Coast, West Coast, or, on the same coast, in the same city, just whatever, whoever fits best. And so we set up a common time, for both of them. And that's promoted all week, so they know what time it's going to come on. A lot of times they're on Fridays. And it's like, okay, Friday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, we're going live with, this person, Anthony and Lily, or Andy and Lily. And
Right.
that was one of our dates. And so then people are kind of, anticipating it, and just log on. Like when you're on Instagram and you go live with someone, or you're watching a live and you see them go live and they're talking about information. And so it's just like that, you click on it, you see it says live, and you're watching the date. And for the participants, they just log on. So this is another thing, is that they log on with the men's profile or the women's profile. So they're not using their personal page. So if they're if they want to do it, but they're kind of still shy, they're not logging on, and then all of their friends, and their mama and people from their church are watching. It's just, the people who are a part of the virtual first dates community. And so you're logged into that profile. It's kind of like a ghost profile. And so they log in, and they start their date, introduce themselves to each other, and then just kind of go from there. And as far as the negative comments or anything like that, the community is pretty good now. Granted, there has been some of the comments get a little wild because people have gone through their different experiences. And that's another reason why, I'm passionate about doing this is because it's not just a learning experience for the participants, but it's a learning experience also for people who are watching, all of our viewers. You're able to see it and you're like, "Ugh, like I used to do that, or
Right.
yeah, I thought that was right, and then, you get a different perspective because you see, how it's being received by that other person. And then you see how it's being received in the comments. And most of the time they're very, supportive, but sometimes you'll see someone in the comments and they're just like, girl, no, he's gonna waste your time, and that has happened. And it was actually one of the ladies who had been on the show, and
Okay.
she apologized later. She's like, "I'm so sorry." She was just like, "He just reminded me of my ex-boyfriend, and he was about, it wasn't about anything." And I'm like, "Okay." I was like, "I figured that, I figured there were some old wounds, and sometimes people remind you of someone else that rubbed you the wrong way or did you wrong, and it's just like, eh, sometimes they actually have those things in common, and they are that way, and then sometimes they're not. They just remind you of them. So yeah, so that happens, but we try and keep it positive, and I'll moderate it in the comments, because while the date's going on, I'm just watching and checking out what's going on, and then after the date I interview each of them after, to see how it is that they felt about the date, and any comments that they have, and then also let the viewers ask them questions, and then I kind of touch on some questions maybe that weren't answered during the date, because the whole thing is that you're going on this live date, but the audience gets to be a part of it. It's like they're going on the date with you. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. So when you go back into mediate, I understand. So you go back and mediate after it's over. So has anything connected, or has everything just been, no, I'm not going forth? So what's your success rate, I should ask?
Well, it's been 11, no, it's been 10 dates. I'm sorry, one of the dates, oh, I was so sad because it was one of the best ones. One of the young ladies didn't really understand how to save it on her end to the Instagram page, and so it wasn't saved. If you don't save the live, it's gone. And so, but there was 10 dates, and out of the 10 dates, 6 out of the 10 couples decided that they would keep talking. So pretty good. Yeah,
So
yeah,
that
yes,
60%.
yeah. I mean, and that's exciting, because when you think about a lot of these other, like dating sites, you know, I guess the purpose of it is different, So
Mm-hmm.
if you're getting that, many people who are hitting it off, it says that something, something is done right, as far as that vetting process. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
you have your own personal matchmaker with the show, because of how involved, that I am, and how involved the team is, to putting someone with someone that they share things in common. And it's a dating experiment. So a lot of it is to learn, something from it. And then also, you hit it off, then you just take it from there, and continue your dates, but just not live, because
I
obviously
got you.
that's something getting you out of your element. So a lot of them, as far as what they've learned, would be learning that, okay, I can try something new, because none of them had did anything like that before. And they're like, oh my God, this is crazy. I've never done anything like this. And some people were shy, and I couldn't even believe they were doing it, but they wanted to try something new, get out of their element, because they wanted to learn, and maybe give it a different approach, to see if they can find, someone to connect with, and at the very least, have a new experience. And so, yeah. So besides that, they'll a lot of them have said that they were really excited that they did it, and it was a good experience, and they enjoyed, the other person's company, and communicating with them, even if they were like, no, it's not going to work, for me. So yeah.
Got you. So, you said it is a good success rate. So, and I know you don't go further, but has anybody ever hit you back and say, "Hey, I flew out to see this cat," or "I flew out to see this woman"? Has anybody ever hit you back and said, "Hey, Miss V, I met him and thank you"? Has anybody ever done that for you?
Yes, yes, actually, a couple of them are on the same coast. They were able to just kind of like drive out and, spend time together and things like that. And that was really exciting for me because I'm just like, so what happened? How did it go? How did they, how did they act? Because even with like, Patty the matchmaker, I mean, there's so much that you can do, but you can't control everything, and
Right.
and there has been some that have had some issues, and they came back to me, both of them, and were asking for advice, like, well, she mentioned this, blah 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 blah, and I didn't really know how to take it, and so it's almost like I kind of turned to a therapist as well. So it had a lot of positive outcomes, and I mean, even with the ones that did not work out, they still learned something from it and have moved on, and were able to use those tools to be successful in their next relationship. So that's a win. For me, I consider that it's
And
something that's it's a win for us, for the community. So yeah.
and that's what we are. We on Winning Wednesdays right now. That's a success
Yeah.
story. I like to take forward, because the thing is this, because with the HBCU network, I did a show, The Dating Game, and a couple cats, how we did it once because we did it with cameras off, and once the cameras came on, it became a situation like, nah, I really don't want to do this. So when I saw you doing your thing, I said,
Mm-hmm.
this is gonna be the way to go. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it would falter that way, because like you said, everybody got preferences, but I didn't know the backlog. Like you said, you had this sheet that everybody answered questions and say, this is what we want to do, and
Yeah.
this is where we need to go. So, you did a tremendous thing for the community, because I know a lot of cats, the notable websites, POF,
Mm-hmm.
Black People Meet, Tinder,
Yeah.
I'm
Bumble,
guessing
Hinge.
Bumble.
Yeah.
Bumble. My favorite, and you're gonna laugh, my favorite is Farmers Only. That's my favorite.
I
I
heard of
want to.
that. I haven't checked it out. And I'm really one of those that will check out a lot of stuff to see like what's going on here, And I've heard of it, but I've never been on it. So what's going on?
Oh, oh no! I only want to get free. I only want to get free vegetables. That's all. This it's Farmers Only. I want to find a farmer woman that's gonna give me free vegetables and free
But do you
food.
have to be a farmer too to be on it, or no? You just
I'm
on
not.
there
I'm
trying
not.
to find a farmer?
I just lied and said I was a farmer. I ain't farming nothing.
Oh
Just
no.
I want to get free onions and oranges and things in that way. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's just the coincide of the situation. So you did this. So
Right.
what's lined up now? Because I watched the thing the other. I mean, we're not going to go into your next segment, what you got going on as well. So with the IG dating, virtual. So like once you make it happen and things occur. I mean, well, once you make the match happen off your paper, you and your team, and then the show comes on, and then
Mm-hmm.
you have people watching, So, is there any boundaries where it's like, yo, you can't do this, you can't do that?
Well, I mean, there are rules already on Instagram, even though there's some we don't follow. But a part of the vetting, um, I if I there's been a couple of different people that once it came to the interview process and the ending of that vetting process, that made me uncomfortable, and made
Mm-hmm.
me feel like, okay, this won't, it's a possibility it could go bad, and this person has a little bit more refining to do, and so I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna put any of the participants in a situation, a compromising situation, even though you're at home, or in the comfort of wherever just that you feel comfortable. You can still feel violated in some kind of way, or a person talking to
Right.
you in a certain way disrespectful, and we don't tolerate that. So that's why, even if I have parts of my team vetting, at the end of it, I look at everyone, and I review it. It doesn't go live before I have my hands on it. So Yeah. They're so I mean, like we try different things. Like a lot of times I'll send them questions as well so that they can be prepared if they're nervous. Because and it's so funny because a lot of them will feel all comfortable, with me, and they're just like, oh no, 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 I don't need any questions. I got it. Like I'm cool, I'm cool. And then they get on the date and they're attracted to the person. Everything that they thought they knew, they forgot. And I'm like, this is incredible.
Right,
I learned so much just, like hosting the show, just behavior, and just how people react. A lot of people are comfortable with me anyways, but, throughout that interview process, they're, comfortable sharing, telling me different things, telling me what kind of person they are and so forth. And then they get on the date and it's like the representative comes peeking out like, oh,
right,
I'm here, this day can't carry on without me, and who they really are, it's like they're scared to share that piece. And so last year before the holidays, and I kind of took a little bit of break for the holidays, and also to apply the things that, have been learned, from the show period, and that is that there's a lot of deep rooted issues that we are having, and it
hmm
is showing up in the relationships. And so that's another reason why I bring on therapists and specialists or couples, to kind of talk about their experience. And I had a couple on, Monique and Jamel, and they've been married for quite some time, been together for 14 years. And so that's a long time,
wow.
especially for us. I mean, they're my age, I'm 35. And so I think there might be
You sure you 35? You look like you about
yeah,
25.
I may look young, but I'm an old soul. Okay. And so, yeah, I mean, like, just having those therapists on there and talk about some of these things that we don't think about, and those unresolved, traumas, that typically come from our childhood. And a lot of times, people are blaming, it on their last relationship. And it's just like, maybe that don't have nothing to do, that last relationship could not do that much damage, to have you where you're at now. It's usually
Right,
from your childhood, trauma. And a lot of times you don't even know that it exists and you're thinking, you're fine, but it starts to show itself in the relationship, and you start to sabotage the relationship and don't understand why. And so that's another, piece of another learning piece, of virtual first dates, is to give you those tools so that you can be successful, or and to even believe that you can have a healthy relationship to provide a healthier environment for these children. Our children, whether they're yours
hmm
or someone else's, they're looking at you. And maybe you'll be that one example that's like, oh, when I was a kid, I never seen any good relationships except for Mrs. So and so, and Mr. So and
hmm
so in the corner. They had a loving relationship, and I said, I'm going to strive to have something like that, a relationship that looks like that. So, yeah.
Got you. So IG virtual first dates, what's the
Mhm.
demographic? What's like the age? What age do you deal with?
Well, we had it from 25 to 55. And then I begin, hearing, from some other people like, well, why don't you widen it? What about 60? What after 60? There's some people, who want to date. And I'm like, well, we got to make sure that they know how to use Instagram, because that's where that's where the show is, And I've had some training sessions to teach, people how to use, the Instagram live, and spent some time with them, maybe like a couple of hours, like, this is how you use it. Let's try it again, And so I'm open, to that. But we found that a lot of the younger, people that are out there, they're not really into getting something serious. They just think they want to be in a relationship, but really they, really just trying to have fun. And so wanted to focus it on, 25 and up, because people who are 30, they're dating someone. They may be dating someone that's 25,
Right.
So 25 to about 50 to 55 is really the main target, group audience to kind of, promote to them, because they're out here single, trying to figure it out, wanting to be in a relationship, wanting to be married, and they're just like, hey, I'll try anything, so
Hey,
and it's fun. Well, I mean, and it's fun, and then you have the support, of the virtual first dates community and the other participants. They're like, I did this last week, so, but yeah, I decided to kind of take a break from the dates and move more to the education pieces behind it, and kind of tackle some of these issues that are going on, and to just have the conversation, because if we have the conversation, we can get knowledgeable about what's going on, we can start working on fixing the problem. And so that's what brought me to our new mini series, which is called Ask a Black Man.
yeah, we're gonna get into that to a second, but we're gonna
Okay.
finish with this. We're gonna finish with this virtual first dates, because when you
Okay.
got the sheet coming down,
Mhm.
I understand they got their demographics and everything they want to deal with, but do you like match as far as like education wise? Because why I'm asking that, because where I'm at right now with this whole I'm with the HBCUL network, everybody has attended or graduated from one of the illustrious 107 university HBCU. Let me say this correctly.
Yeah.
The 107 historically Black college universities in America. Somebody's either attended or graduated from it. So
Yes.
do you guys look at that as far as like bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhD, AAs? Do your high school diploma, do y'all look at that as well?
Yes, the education piece, not necessarily like, okay, if you have associates, I'm not gonna, connect you with someone who has a bachelor's or a master's. No, being educated, is important. And then also with interviewing them, you can, pick up a lot, because sometimes, what you see on paper, it doesn't translate.
Right.
And just because you have a degree doesn't necessarily mean that you can conduct yourself like you're educated. And so, but pretty much everyone who's on the show has attended college or, graduated and, has degree or multiple degrees. So yes, that definitely makes a difference. And that's a part of that learning experience as well, that you can see, but you don't really see that piece of the difference, because we don't match them, that, people that are that different, from each other and having the same values, right? But as you grow, as a person, you'll find yourself less attracted to this person. You're not, when you were, struggling and, just started college and you had this little job that you hated or whatever, you met people there. But as you progressed, and, succeeded, in the different areas that you set out your goals, you're not looking at that same person that was where you started and they never, grew past that. They're still in the same place, so that already says a lot about their mindset, and you're going to have differences. So it wouldn't be a good idea, to be dating them, even if you thought that they looked good and, you guys, could laugh together. That's great. But if we don't have a lot of the, the same values, and look at things the same way, it's going to be very hard to have that healthy relationship. And, as it pertains to with men, looking for a woman to submit, she's not going to be able to submit to you if she doesn't really, if your values are not aligned, and, you don't have the same mindset. You want to be with someone that you already can get behind what they're talking about, what their, their views are, and then you're going to have less resistance. And so that's where you go where there's a less resistance.
I got you, but I'm going to bring two more questions on virtual first date before we flip over to your new project.
Sure.
So do you do, my viewers, I mean, they all into different things. So do you do, as far as virtual first dates on IG, do you do LGBTQ plus? I don't know all the things. I don't know, but you do that community. Is that community welcome on your platform?
I haven't done it yet, just because I don't really know a lot about it. I am still learning. That's kind of, some of the people that I know who have, like, one of the girls who was on, one of the ladies that was on, she, has a friend that is, gay. And so she was, talking to me about that. And I was like, I don't know, like, to be perfectly honest, I'm very transparent. I'm not very educated on it. And so I'm still learning. So I think that that's important, because if you're not, and then, you kind of open it up, you don't know if you're going to offend, or you don't know if someone else does it, you don't know what to look for. And I think that that's very important, is getting, educated on that. So as it's growing, I am learning more about, what's going on in that community, and if that can work. So the basis of the show is to help educate, us in our community, so that we can promote, families and, healthy relationships. And so a lot of that, is as far as promoting, Black marriage and things like that, so that we can create, these healthy families. Yeah, I mean, I'm still just kind of figuring out what that would look like, and does that kind of defeat this purpose over here, as far as building those, families of, husband and wife and children, and then, stretching out, into this element that this area that I don't really know much about. And I'm like, wait, it's a they, we, them. I'm like, I can't keep up, but I'm like, I want to be respectful, because I do believe, that all of us deserve love, and however it is that that you get it. There's some deeper things into that, as far as preferences, and, mental health, and hormonal, and balancing all these different things. So I'm really into that. And so, would like to just kind of take it one step at a time, so I don't just kind of throw myself in there and don't know anything, about it. And then it's not really a help. It's a hindrance. So not of yet. We haven't opened it up, so that we did little side hookups though.
Got you.
Within that community, we've got a little side hookups with that.
I definitely feel you, and I definitely understand it. So now this is the big question before we go over it. Have you tried your own product?
When I started the show, the very first one we did, I went on a date, but no one really knew about it just yet. And so, and then I really didn't know exactly how I was going to go about the recording, how everything worked on Instagram. And so, but we did it. We just went on a live date. I went on a live date with Jay, and he's in Austin. I used to live in Austin, but I'm in Dallas now. And so we did a live date, and it turned out well. It was pretty good, but yeah, I would be open to do it again. It just, it just hasn't happened yet, but I'm totally open to do it. I think that it's exciting to me. I know some people, they're like stressed out, about it, because they don't like, to be on the camera, or they're like, what do I say? And that's never a question for me. So
I definitely got you, but I got one more, because it just popped in my mind real quick. So when they doing these IG dates, like, do they purchase food and things like that, or they just sit back and talk? I saw the show, so I know how it goes. I'm just asking so my viewers to know.
Yeah, I think that we were kind of moving to different ideas of like creative things, but most of the time all my people are like, seems like they're like workaholics, or if not both of them, then, one is. And so they're doing these on the go type of things. But most of them, if they have anything, they'll have like a snack. And one of the situations, they're, have a little wine and a little music going, trying to, set the mood. And for me, I was thinking of some other ideas of like them trying to work, do something together, like maybe cook, a meal. And so we had some different little ideas like that for future, dates. But most of the time it's just maybe a snack, or they, have something to drink, and some wine, just just vibing, kind of more like
Got
a
you.
coffee shop type of feel.
I got you. I got you. So
Which is good.
now,
That's a good first
no,
date. It's a coffee date,
yeah,
It's
that
the
that is
case.
always great. That is always great. But so now you have this 6-part mini series that you're about to start. That's called Ask a Black Man. So
Yes.
how did this? How did this? Come about? How did that come about?
Yes, and it may go longer than 6 parts. We'll see how it goes. But how it came about is, I, communicate with a lot of different people. I just love to pick people's brains, and have guys friends that will ask me, different questions because they feel very, very comfortable, picking my brain, and as I am, picking theirs. And and so I was hearing some of the same complaints, as it pertains to these relationships and the disconnect between Black women and Black men. And um, as I was asking, them, I noticed that there was this surprise, from Black men that there was an interest. And the guy, the first gentleman who was on the show last week,
I
we were
watched
talking.
that. I watched
Yeah,
that.
we were talking, and we're on video where we're going over these ideas, this idea that I had that I wanted to have him on the show. And I had complimented him, and was
Hmm.
asking some different questions. He was just like, I was like, I don't want to gas you up too much. He's like, no, go ahead, gas me up, gas me up. He's like, you don't know how much that means to be gassed up and, get receive compliments from a strong Black woman. It was just like, the thing that keeps me humble is knowing that when I log off this call with you, I got to go back to the bull. And I'm like, oh my gosh,
Hmm.
so typically I might have ran, through that, not even really, thought about it, but I've been doing some work and, being, learning how to be present. And I said, you know what, I got to sit on that because that's a problem. This should not be a shock that someone, that a woman, cares about what it is that you're going through or cares about your view, your perspective.
But that's a shock. I don't mean to cut you off, Miss V, but that is a shock to us sometimes.
Yeah, that is what I am finding. And also just those, complaints that, a lot of times that, Black women are not really they're challenging them. And there are a lot of pieces to that because of,
Hmm.
because of the work, the way that you're raised, and in the workforce. And then the attack on Black men and the attack on Black women is different, and so even though we are Black, we are experiencing something else. The oppression, it looks different. And so a lot of
Hmm.
times with that going on, we're looking like, okay, well, I'm experiencing this and you don't understand it because that's not what your experience is. And
Right.
and I understand kind of what you're going through, but I don't completely understand because I'm not a Black man. There's certain opportunities that I'm going to get, or that I have been, privileged to get that a lot of times y'all are not able to. And so there's this mindset when you're coming up as a woman, it's like, okay, I want this American dream. And, y'all are thinking, okay, I want this American dream. But what that looks like and how you get there is different, for a Black man and a Black woman. And that disconnect right there is something that we have to, be able to communicate about and understand. And and so just from listening, to men and listening to girlfriends or women that, are just complete strangers that, share their perspective, I realized that at the end of the day, what it comes down to is our education when we are coming up. So there's the education that you just get, as, the things that you're being taught by your parents that they're intentionally teaching you. And then there's
Hmm.
that education that you get that's kind of unspoken, and
Right.
that you're observing and then you're, shaping all these ideas that, okay, so this doesn't work, I can't have this. If I,
Hmm.
I can only have this if I date such and such, I can
Right.
only, get this American dream if I'm with a man that's making, 6 figures. And then you find out that 6 figure man, you don't even like him, or, or some of these men, that are like, okay, I want this woman and she looks like this and she's got a body like this, blah, 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 blah. And she's not a good wife, to you, or and she's
Right.
not a good mother to your daughter or your children that you have or the kids that you make. And then it's like, oh shoot, I'm already in this now. And so
Right.
so for me, I believe that it's very important for us to start having these conversations and understanding what is this value of the opposite sex, because as far as us arguing, you see on a lot of different platforms, they're negative and they're pushing this narrative of this very
Mm-hmm.
small community. It's not
Right.
a large number where there's Black men that are marrying out. That is a very small number,
Right.
statistically speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes, it is.
and I'm not, sometimes statistics can be a little, manipulated, but that's a true number. I mean, the number is very large of Black men that marry Black women. And so it's like, that's the negative narrative. Then there's this narrative that, you got to be making this much money when it's not even realistic. Realistically speaking, Black men across America, the average, salary is 42,000.
Right.
So when you're saying, oh, I need a six-figure man, it's like, well, that's like 2%.
Mm-hmm.
And no, like you need
All
to
right.
be realistic and understand that that's not going to always, be the case. You may not even run in circles for you to have access to those, type of, people. And you may not want that. A lot of times you may not want that because you're not getting what it is that you really want and desire. You're going off of what you think you're supposed to have and what the American dream looks like for you. And it's just like your dream looks like whatever you create. So if you want it, you desire it, these things, be very sure of what it is that what you want, and make sure that you're considering the other person. I had a girlfriend and she had her list in a Bible. She was just like, oh, let me show you my list of the things that I
Okay.
want, in a man. And so it was a list. It was a long one. And I'm
Right.
like, okay. And so I'm like looking through the Bible. She's like, what you looking for? What you looking for, girl? And I'm like, the list of things that God needs to work on in you so that you can be what that man is asking for. It shouldn't
Thank
be
you.
it
Thank
shouldn't
you.
be a
Come on.
one-sided thing where
Come
you're
on.
winning,
Say it.
you're not
Say it,
winning.
Miss V. Say it,
You
Miss
know?
V. Say it. Say it.
So, and so it's like if you're thinking that way, you're not ready to date and be out here anyways, because it's very selfish and we have to consider each other. And a lot of times that's not what's happening. We're coming to the table and we're like, oh, this is my thing. And the brothers is coming like these are things they might not even be talking about it, but they're going through their stuff and they don't feel comfortable. And that's the reason we have Ask a Black Man. They don't feel comfortable that they have a space a safe space to be vulnerable and be heard. And so I said, you know what? I see it, I see the problem. I understand. So now let me help, my ladies understand this too, for those who don't, and how we can kind of show that we do celebrate, you Black man, and we do appreciate you, and the things that we don't understand and want to,
Mm-hmm.
there needs to be, opportunities for us to get that understanding. And just a safe space, or people bringing it up. A lot of times we won't touch on things unless it's brought up. And so it's like,
Right.
let's start these conversations and we can get to it.
I totally get you, but you already got a guest that's ready to come on Ask a Black Man. This is one of my viewers he's here with me every week. Brother for real is what I call him. But
Okay.
is the Black Marvel said he wants to come on Ask a Black Man. He wants to come on. I told you, Miss B, you gonna come on. When you come on Amsterdam Talk, you're gonna leave with something.
Okay.
You definitely gonna leave with something. But I'm loving the whole concept that you have with the Ask a Black Man concept. So, Will, because I was thinking about something else, so I'm gonna let that pass. But when you come on here with the Ask a Black Man concept about what they want from a woman at the same time, what they want from a black woman, hopefully a Black woman.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, so where would this take you at? What's the next form after these questions are asked, and what happens? Do you translate it back to the virtual dates, or this is something new that's coming on? Because I see you're a visionary. Where did this go from?
Yeah, well, it actually happens on virtual first dates because virtual first dates is not like I was stating that it's not just the live dates that are happening. It's just overall, the information that's going to help, change these perspectives and help us kind of get the tools to better ourselves and to be better in relationships. And so, as far as the Ask a Black Man, it's helpful, to women and men. A lot of the men have been excited about it. It's crazy because I've gotten, a lot of, feedback, from them. I'm like, wow, okay, this just proves how important, this topic is. And then, for my ladies, the way I look at it is that when we're coming up, as kids, we're learning basically how to keep ourselves safe and then also to prepare ourselves to be, partners, but not really partners, just, this helpmate, so as women, we're learning the things, how to keep a house, right? But we're not really learning how men think, what they want besides the basic, things, that's not all. And the same thing for brothers, they're not, learning about women in that, arena, learning what they go through, learning, when they're reacting a certain way or when they're acting a certain way, where is that coming from? And if you have these tools, you really knew each other, then you can, respond rather than react. And I think that, part is very important because at the end of the day, we don't know each other. And,
right.
And I believe in, Black love, but I do believe that a lot of times we feel like there's an obligation. It should be an obligation, when it comes to love. It should be, okay, I want to be here. And the reason I'm choosing you is because the way that you understand me, the way that we interact.
Come on.
And so
No,
we're just bonding because of the color of our skin and our trauma. That's not healthy. You're bonding over something that you are still trying to find resolution about, not your Blackness, of course, but, a lot of us, suffer from different, identity, issues, with that. And there's identity trauma. I had therapists come on and speak about that, she's a racial identity trauma therapist. And so it's a mouthful, but she has a few different things that she specializes in. I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing, but it's a thing,
right.
And so just like I believe if you are going to, have an interracial relationship, that you would put forth the effort to understand that other, person's culture and where they come from so that you can be there for them when they experience different things. It's the same thing when you're dating a Black woman, you're dating a Black man. You need to understand what it is that they go through so you can better connect and you can be a better, support system to that, to your partner. So yeah, that is a big piece. And then I'll have a mini series for our ladies, but it's all under the umbrella, the virtual first dates umbrella. Because these are the tools, that you are able to learn and apply, to your relationships, when dating, so that when you get married, you can have less sessions at the therapist.
Right.
So,
Right. Brother for real is Ask a Black Man exclusive to IG as well.
it is, but we may branch it out just depending on how big it gets. We just started. We had our first, episode on Friday last week.
I watched it.
Yeah, and so the more I talk about it, I'm getting kind of excited and kind of like, wait, I didn't realize like how, big this actually could get. And so now I'm like, okay, what else do I need to know? Like I said before, I need to make sure I'm prepared so I can know where this is going to go. And of course I would like it to be organic and to touch, as many people as possible. But with it being on IG, it's on IG Live, but we'll be recording it and putting it on YouTube. So then everyone can see it then, if you don't have Instagram. You just wouldn't watch it live. And so we're checking into to see if we're going to use a different service, maybe like StreamYard, so we can stream it out to different platforms, and then more people can put their, like ask questions and have their input. So yes.
Miss V, I've never done this on air in my life. I've never done this on air in my life, but I'm getting ready to ask you right now. So check this out. You know, you have Ask a Black Man.
Uh,
I have this platform, HBCU Network.
yeah.
Would you like to come on and join us?
And join you guys for a show or how would you?
No, no, we will suffice your whole Ask a Black Man
Oh, okay.
situation. I've
Okay. Well,
never done this on air.
well, yeah, let's definitely, I'm
But
super
we
open
can
to
talk.
talking about it and seeing, how what that looks like. But yes, it's much, for me, it's important to reach as many people as possible. And I definitely love and respect what you're doing. So I'm definitely open to it for sure.
I know, and I know I'm gonna get a question pop up. They're gonna ask. You already said you're single, so she's already single, fellas. So you're gonna ask her. She's in Dallas, Texas. You know, but basically, so I get with everything you're doing, and you're saying the mini series is gonna extend more, and you got the Ask a Black Woman coming on as well. You're gonna branch off to do that.
It's, well, I'm not for sure if we're going to do Ask a Black Woman because
Why not? Why not? Why not?
well, because I'm basing it off of the need, and so with the Ask a Black Man, I will probably do something similar to Ask a Black Woman, but I have another series in mind that I want to touch on what's more critical with our women, and that is it's going to be based off of sex and shame, and
Mm,
so that is something that is hurting a lot of the relationships as well, with the shame that comes with being sexual and being comfortable with yourself, and especially if you were raised in the church. There's a lot that comes with that, and you're kind of just thrown into it once you get married, and you have no idea of what's going on. There was so much shame leading up to that, and so it's very hard to just turn that off. But not only married people are experiencing that, and so that's one that's a real big thing with my ladies, and so that may come first. But yeah, Ask a Black Woman, it'll probably be shaped a little different, but yes,
okay.
because I do want it to be open for men once they get comfortable to be able to ask these questions that they really would like to know, and that may turn into a panel though. So it just may look different from just Ask a Black Man. It may be like a Black man and a Black woman, set up each episode where it's kind of looks like a live thing, because with Instagram it's kind of expanding, so I can have more
Hmm.
people on. So we're gonna see how that goes and test that out, because we had a little bit of a glitch last week, and
Right.
it
I
started
saw that. I
working.
saw that. I saw that.
Yeah, it started working at the end, so I think it may be something where you have to start it that way. So we will work out the keys and
Well,
go.
IG only give you a certain amount of time that they're gonna let you go live.
Yeah, an hour, which
Yeah.
which can work because you want to keep people's attention, and sometimes people are like they're tuning into now. So if we keep it short enough, they can come in, watch it, check it out, and then show up for the next episode. So
Got you. So here we go, because we got the last couple minutes, and I got something special to say within the last couple minutes. So where can they reach you at, Miss V, so they can check out the virtual? I know where to reach you at, so they can reach
yes,
you out for the virtual first dates and to watch the this I'm not gonna say 6-part no more, because you said it's gonna expand the mini
yeah, most
series
likely
of
it'll
Ask a Black Dude.
expand. Yeah,
Where
most
can they
likely
reach you
expand.
at?
You can reach us at Virtual First Dates, and that's all together. It's virtual and then one ST, because a lot of times people wanted to spell it out, but it's virtual, VIRTUAL, and then one STDATES, and that's on Instagram, and same thing on YouTube. And you can DM us there, or virtualfirstdates@gmail.com. And the website is, I'm tweaking the website, so it'll be virtualfirstdates.com. But that's where you can reach us if you're interested in being a participant, going on a date, or being matched, or just coming on Ask a Black Man, or any of the Raw Talks that we come up with, our mini series for our ladies. If you're a therapist and would like to, come on and bring some insight, to tips for the dating world, you can connect with us there as well. And or send us an email on Gmail with your contact information, and we can get back to you.
Oh, that is beautiful. So one thing, Miss V, this is my 18th show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you did say that in the beginning here.
this
Congratulations.
this is my 18th show, and I gotta, this is beautiful. I like what you're doing. I've watched your first one to your last one. I'm always watching.
Wow.
And I became a big fan. So that's when I hopped in your DMs. I gotta have hope.
Nice.
Because at the end of the day, I want you to promote. I want to promote you just as well. I'm out here as myself. So
yes, definitely. No, I appreciate that. And that really means a lot coming from you. I've seen your work as well. So it's always, good when someone else is doing something impressive and they're like, I love what you're doing. You're like, okay, cool. Like, this is awesome. That makes me feel good and motivated to keep on pushing and keep improving, this material and this content. So,
well, that's how I gotta go because my producer, the chairman, the chairwoman, I should say, Ava Joy, she created a whole platform on Facebook, HBCU Singles Lounge, and there's a HBCU Couples Lounge. And she promoting this whole Black love thing that we're trying to establish. And I believe that you're on the same situation. The only the rules and regulations of joining the singles lounge is you had to attend a HBCU or you had to graduate, either or. You just had to go attend, basically.
Right. Yeah, I went to Clark Atlanta.
Oh, okay. So there's Clark.
I didn't graduate from there, but I went there.
well, you are always welcome. You're always welcome. But to me, on a personal note, this is where I go before we sign off. I've been working since July with the network. I joined the network in July, from the Dating Game, the Family Feud to now Amsterdam Talk. And this is my time. This is my time to sign off. So I'm going to take a break to find, not to find myself, but to just get a mental break. So this is the last Amsterdam Talk, I should say, right here.
Oh, wow.
This is it. This is it.
Wow.
I appreciate everybody that came through week in and week out on Wednesday at 9 o'clock to chop it up with me and listen to my voice. I thank Ava for giving me a voice, from July till now. So this is it. I'm sitting down, 18 shows down. I'll be back. Trust and believe. I'll be back. I just need some time to go back and reassess some things. But when I come back for season 2, this is the end of season 1. I'll be back for season 2. And I want to let the cat out the bag. See less celebrities coming on in season 2. And we're going to start this fire straight back up. But I just need some time off. I'll be back.
It's important. It's important to do that. Your self-care and self-love it's critical so that you can bring the best of you. So
because when we started, it was ratchet. It was a little ratchet. We was doing some ratchet shit on here. I'm not gonna lie, but Danielle Graves, our resident life coach in the group, and D Martinez, they sat me down and said, yo, we could take you from Jerry to Montel. And so we started bringing things in. It was ratchet at first, I'm not gonna lie. It was ratchet. So then we went on and started bringing out things that was going on in our society and our culture. Yeah. So, everybody that's been on from Black Love to Dr. Amon Perry, Dr. Siobhan Smith Jones, who else was on? Our BDSM crew, our resident sex therapist, Tia, Slippery When Wet when she came through. Nice. Everybody that did all 18 shows with me, I thank you. I really thank you. But I gotta take some time off.
Yes.
I gotta take some time off. So I will not be with you I will not be with y'all for the next coming Wednesdays. But there's still content that will be coming on. There's the Locker Room Chronicles, the Locker Room Chronicles is coming on Tuesday. I'm
Mhm.
going to negotiate this deal with Miss V Bailey for
That's
her
what I was
Ask a
wondering. I'm like, how you negotiating something with me and you're out? I'm like,
No,
wait.
no, I'm not out. I'm not out.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
out. I'm not out at all. I'm not at all.
Okay.
I'll be back. I'll be
Okay.
back. But I just got to
Right.
take some time off. I got to take some time off. So I want to
Okay.
bring
I'm with
you
you.
in. There's a Wednesday night slot for you right there. But when I come back, I want it back. So
What-
no, but truthfully, thank you for coming on. I had to bring you on because I respect so much what you were doing on Instagram, and I loved everything you were doing. I was following
Thank
everything you
you.
did. Oh, camp! Shout out to Love Coach Kings for coming through with her. Coming through and how she's coaching men to know their worth. I can't
Oh,
forget about
awesome.
you, sweetie. Can't forget about you. Who else was on? I know I'm missing somebody else. I can't remember right now, but everybody that came through for all 18 episodes. The podcast is on all streaming networks. You can listen to me, but as far as the live streaming, I gotta take a break.
Yeah.
I gotta take a break. I might end up on Ask a Black Man. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
I ended up on a
I
town hall
hope
meeting.
so, actually. I was actually going to ask you about that. So he just taking a break. We're gonna get you to do a little work. You're gonna be live streaming all the time.
I gotta take a break. I gotta take a break at all times. I've been
No,
working.
that's
I've been
great.
working this network since July, man. I've been going strong from the
Yeah.
dating game to Family Feud. Shout out to Alabama State for winning the title.
Yeah.
To Amsterdam Talk to Deal or No Deal. I'm
You've been
I'm I'm
busy.
just I've been busy. I've been
Yeah.
busy. So I decided to say tonight, this is it.
Okay.
I wanted to end it with Miss Yvonne Bailey and her whole virtual dates. You got to watch people, and iron sharpens iron,
Yes,
and that's straight up. And
definitely.
I've been watching you and watching what you do, and I've been watching a couple other people too. But I knew I had to get you because
Oh,
I watched what you did, and it said, "Yo, this woman has it going on. She's bringing on people." Because we tried to do things like this in this group as
yeah.
well, but it never
Mhm.
worked out. But I seen yours was working out. I said, well, maybe I can get some tips from her.
Yeah, it definitely was a blessing because honestly, exactly what I was doing, that I was the first one to do anything like that. I looked, to check that out, and no one was doing that where it came to the live dates. And I had an idea, I had time because of the pandemic, and I feel like the pandemic brought a lot of people's creativity out, and you have the time to really just put into yourself, versus just being a workaholic, because I am a workaholic. But I learned a lot. I got to bring a lot of great information and create a platform versus not just waiting for an opportunity. And it's been very helpful to people. A lot of men and women have reached out just to say how much they appreciate it and things that they've learned. And I didn't know. I had no idea that it was going to be what it is and still growing. And so I'm very appreciative and grateful just to everyone. I'm very passionate about helping and healing people. So that's really what inspired me, inspires most of the things that I do. So, but yeah, you got to do what you got to do. Take your time. I
Yeah.
took a break for a few months, and they will understand, good people in your life, who love you and care for you, they'll understand. They understand that maybe they need to do it as well, sometimes just to regroup and get that refill. So, yeah.
I'm gonna get my refill, but I'm gonna let the cat out the bag 2 times because I got more than this. But when I get back, I got Tracy G from Sway in the Morning, and I got A&T's own North Carolina A&T's own Terrence J. So I see y'all when I come back. I'll be back. Once drop the promo, I'll be back shortly. I won't be back in the next couple of weeks, but I'll definitely be back. Thank you, V Bailey, for coming on. Anybody want to reach V Bailey, you can either hit me or you can catch you at where?
Virtual First Dates on Instagram or virtualfirstdates@gmail.com. You can send me a message, send us and the team will respond. Okay. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
You always welcome, baby. This is my house, but you're always welcome.
Okay. I love it.
Always welcome. You always welcome. So, my viewers, HBCUL Network, I'll see you sometime in 2021. This is Amsterdam Talk signing off. I need to go get a break. Make sure you go holler at her, get yourself a virtual date, 25 to 55. And she said she'll do even more if you need to. Ask a Black Man mini-series is coming. The Locker Room Chronicles is on Tuesday. For myself, I'm somewhere in the mist. I'll see you later. This is the end of Amsterdam Talk.